Your main man returns with a video with a broad spectrum of applications, because this comes up in game after game after game. You see, we're talking, as you probably read the title, about shapeshifting. Now, shapeshifting is something that is usually done incredibly poorly in games from A World of Darkness to Dungeons and Dragons. Down the tubes with that app. Shapeshifting is something that's so easily done. I remember as early in my teenage years, whenever it came out, watching the movie Nightbreed, which I watched as an adult, not as good. But as a kid, I was a teenager, loved Nightbreed. Loved Nightbreed. Loved that movie. Based on the book Cabal, which I actually have in the other room. But it is a really excellent description of shapeshifting there. It was just amazing. When the one, I guess they're like fairies, right? I mean, that's, I think, what we would generally concern them to be in a role-playing setting. The Nightbreed, it's a bunch of fae, right? So the one fae that has like a weird-looking little deer, cow, daughter girl that comes in and she just turns into smoke, gangrel style. And she slides under the door. She smoked, but when she comes back, she's naked. She don't have like her +5 magic sword. They didn't melt into her skin or turn into a little piece of jewelry. I've always thought that idea was just so butt. And here's the other big problem with shapeshifting in games. Boom, it's like that. Well, what about when we look at American Werewolf in London or something like that, and you just see this long, prolonged, and the jaw coming out and everything, and people just be selling. Oh, you're like, oh, attack it for attack. Opportunity. I gotta attack it right now. I gotta do it. Sit your ass back and calm the fuck down and sell. Sell. It's a theme. Repeating, recurring theme. Put it over. You don't see that in a movie. You don't see like the werewolf like shifting and everybody just run around and all calm and start beating it down. No, you might sit there and then you start running. You understand? At best. Now, that's a sign of awe. But when you're just like boom and you've shapeshifted, when so even if you're going to do it quickly, spend a little time on it. Give it a great description. Talk about the sound of the bones popping and snapping and elongating, and how. Try to imagine your mind what it would sound like to hear bones breaking and then growing and becoming longer, becoming different. Certain other bones crushing, becoming smaller. Teeth peeling out, hair growing in tremendous amounts, or body becoming from flesh to water to mist. These sounds can be very interesting. Engage the smell. Just that musky animal smell that all of a sudden fills the area. Or the smell of fresh night mist that enters into your nose or even into your mouth. You kind of taste it on your tongue or you feel it against your ear. This can be very creepy. All of a sudden you put it over. Big mistake most people make when they run games is they try to do too much and they do too little with what they have. We just talked about it. Here's a great example. This can be put across the board. Do as much as you can with what you have. Don't try to put a million things in there. Work it. You know, it's like you want to make it mean something. Make that shapeshifting mean something. Describe it. Put it over. And then you're going to leave that player going home on their drive home or the next day when they're at work. They're going to be thinking about that. Or 3 days from your game. Like, oh, yeah, that was a great description of that shapeshifting. I really got into that. I got into the fact that you engaged it as a smell, as a taste, as a touch. That, you know, and you can describe the player the first time they shapeshift, how it feels, and having hair. Imagine just long hairs just coming out of you all of a sudden. You know, you're turning into a werewolf. How does that feel? Let's explain that. How does it feel as a vampire to be free of your necrotic body and to be nothing but mist? Imagine if you could turn to mist right now. It would be a unbelievably bizarre experience. And being able to shapeshift. And they touch on this really well in some of the earlier editions. I don't think they did this in third. But in some of the earlier editions, at least in AD&D second edition, I know they did this. You would get hit points back as a druid, and the mechanics was so clunky and bizarre for that it did not seem to fit into the mechanic system of AD&D second edition. But it made sense. You know, your muscles are relaxing; they're becoming looser. You're becoming more flexible. Imagine your muscles getting that kind of work. That's that kind of internal working. You know, your body's essentially doing a kind of yoga that you can't even imagine being able to physically do. So once you start being shapeshifting, it makes all the sense in the world to start kind of increasing that dexterity a little bit, because you become more limber. You become able to become flexible in a way that you just wouldn't have. You know, the old nagging injuries from being, let's face it, if you're a role-playing game character, you're probably going to have some old nagging injuries. So they're probably going to get just pulled apart. Your back's going to get realigned. You're going to have this religious experience, probably many times in shapeshift, but certainly the first. It might be horrifying as well. But bring all those things in. Don't just go, you shapeshift or whatever. You were just a bird. No, that's straight. You were just, that didn't mean anything to you. If you just got to turn into a bird right now, that would blow your mind. Even if you were like working at it. Like, okay, I know I can turn into a bird, because she turned into a bird. And she's like showing me how to do it. She's doing a whole bunch of times. Would blow your mind. All right, and that's in the jaded age we live in a world of fantasy. God, that would just blow your mind, being able to turn into a bird. Particularly the first time you did it, you go, oh, this is no small thing. This should be enormous. Sell it, put it over, soliloquy it, make it mean something. Put it over how much it means. Talk to the other players' character. Oh, I was a bird. I could see different. I had different senses. Oh, I was eating this worm, and it was the joint. Make it real. Make it mean something. And that's incumbent upon you as a player. Don't be a sloppy, lazy, sloven, bad player. Be a good player. Be proactive. Get in there and describe. If your game master isn't giving you the description you want, try to silence their asses and you describe how it comes across. Because guess what? If that scene captivates their minds, you could very well come around to that game master next time and, oh yeah, well, shut your ass up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show you I know what's good too. So just slow down. Take it slow. There's no reason to rush, particularly if you got something good. If you got something good here, why are you rushing up to unknown? You have good right here. What are you getting to? What is so great over here that you have to ignore this? What's so great over here? Usually the answer, nothing. Because when you play that super hot cruiserweight style match, in your game, take it slow. Tell a story. Make every part of the story mean something. Get as much as you can out of every piece that you can. And when you do that, man, boy, you're rocking and rolling. You look back. We did it all right here. Because you put yourself in the moment, in the mind, in the description, in feeling it. That doesn't mean you need to spend 10 minutes describing the way it looks. You should be able to do that, depending on how long you take, fairly quickly. It might take you a minute. But that's a minute. I certainly don't mind sitting there and listening to you. It might take more than a minute if I'm describing. In fairness, I might spend 2 minutes, and 2 minutes is a pretty good amount of time. If you clock 2 minutes of a description on something, but I think that well worth it. You engage it. You have the players there. You're setting up the mood, the feel, the tone, the texture of the game. Again, you're reinforcing it. That things are visceral. Things are real. Things are you're able to interact with them, and they mean something. Okay, now let's talk about this. We talked about it a minute ago. Oh, my items transform with me because I know my +5 longsword needs to turn to mist. No. 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 You. Terrible. Terrible. These are done for one reason only. Metagame reasons. That's it. That's it. That's all. We're done. Let's take that same scene that captivated my mind from Nightbreed when I was a kid, where she flows into the prison is mist, and then they come back and my one buddy, the guy that gacked his face, he looks just like one of the guys in my game room, just like him. My man Kevin looks just like him. So Kevin runs up and he puts the cloak on her, right? Because she's naked. So we've addressed that, and we'll put more over it because he's like, oh, this get you decent. You see? So, all of a sudden, boom. That's a great deal right there, because we're seeing her. she is able to do that by making a bit of a sacrifice. And when you can do something by making a bit of a sacrifice, all of a sudden it means so much more to you. Yeah, you go, oh my, I can't lose my +2 battle axe. Man, you can. That doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Oh, I gotta have that breastplate. I can't get with this. My build. No, son. I'll build a wall and put you aside and leave you there. It's terrible. You know, and Werewolf of the Apocalypse is probably the greatest sinner that we have here. I think for some reason, Vampire the Masquerade, the gang girl, can turn into mist and their clothes go with them. Look, let's not trip on it, man. It's just some nudity. It's not that big a deal. It's not a big deal to me. I know the people over there in Europe are watching. You don't give a damn about it. Don't be so uptight. Don't freak out. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, you know. So, when you have that, you've had to make also kind of like a I guess, you know, maybe some ways you might say like a tactical decision. Or I'll leave all my stuff here or whatever. But I think, you know, when you come out with that mist, you know, I mean, it can really, you can really tell a great story. You know, like the vampire, right? He's coming out of the clothes. Imagine how that would look. Like somebody just starts turning to mist, and you can still sort of see like the etched outline of the features as they're coming out. Like you're trying to fight them, but like you're fighting clothes that are just they have mist inside them, like a high concentration of mist. And the clothes fall to the ground. You're like, oh, you know, how they clothes? Or now you have like a clue, right? So you're like investigating. So oh, we have some clue now. We have some DNA, or you know, we have a clan signet ring, or whatever it is. You know, depending on your era that you can use to further along the story. So right there, boom, you get another win. You don't get much win in the way of, okay, we're all in lupus form, but we have all these strange collars around us and these necklaces. Guys, come on, dude, really? Really? You know, I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, you're going to say, oh, well, Bram Stoker Dracula, this thing, like this. They had tremendous taboos against any kind of sex in there. Trust me, the whole thing about vampires and Bram Stoker Dracula, everything about it is about fucking. It's just a metaphor for fucking. That's what the whole gimmick is there. And so Bram Stoker, he with Dracula, man, he walked the line. I mean, he was Johnny Cash in that piece. So when you know, I give a little bit of leeway there, but at the same time, in a modern era where you don't have those restrictions, don't put them on yourself. Don't. Why? What do you gain out of being able to teleport away or to be able to turn a mist and you still got your +3 longsword of bootiness? Like, my +3 longsword of hell, the duty kind. You know, you don't need that anyway. But it creates a real interesting deal. You know, if the bad guy has to flee, it kind of gives the party also kind of a win on that. It's like, well, he had to leave his gear behind, or he had to, you know, do this or that. Now he has even more reason because it's like, oh, I got to go get my +2 dagger or player character slaying. I ain't got to go get that. So now, you know, we've set it up, and we're going to be able to bring it back. Mist, a bad guy that can mist out is great because the players, it's a way the players can beat him, and he can come back. Because you know they're not going to kill him the first time. You're never going to kill that guy the first time. Just like the bad guys that go invisible. Like, oh, let's go invisible, and then you can bring it back because now they have a reason to go. Oh, now we're gonna get some detective visibility. You know, they had no reason for that before. That'd be ridiculous. They'd be like, oh, well, you just got over on us there, but then you bring it back. You see. It's just like, man, it's like that old mentality. You know, you have it here, and you do something to bring it back, keep it hot. It works wonderfully. When you're doing Shapeshifting, really think about that. You know, think about, did you just rush through it and make it mean nothing? Did it always mean nothing? Did anybody at any point in the Chronicle ever describe it? Was it cool? Certainly it has been. Certainly people have done. I'm not saying this is a revolutionary idea to describe what you're doing, but it's certainly an idea that in that case, a lot of times people, they glance over it too much. They don't do enough with it. And it helps you get more of the character mindset. Think about how alien that is if you just spent, you know, the last 3 hours as a raccoon or as a water. That's going to blow your mind, and then bring that forward. Use that as a role-playing plateau. You could just roll so much through that. It's wonderful. Get your mileage out of what you've done. That is a great way to make the game master, you know, see that you're doing something. You're contributing. You're making a difference. It's a great deal for you because you have something to do. You can talk to the person, oh, it's just an hour. can see, and I can smell, you know, whatever it is, you know. Or we're talking about how it feels for your skin to be nothing but mist floating through the air, and how your body interpreted other senses through that. You know, how you felt, how you smelled as a mist. You know, what is your senses like? Even perhaps if there isn't anything really there, all kinds of ghost senses. Man, you get your leg cut off, you might feel that piece. Why wouldn't you have the same sort of mental ideas as being a fall? Of course you would. You could, at least. And you can bring that around. So do what you can with it. Get as much out of your shape changing as you can. I strongly urge anyone out there that does that in their games just to say, you shape change, dude. Your stuff is sitting there. You are naked. You have no items on you. You just come through there. Let's look at another deal. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is a Terminator. How much better was that scene when he comes through the portal and he can't bring any clothes with him? Right? He's naked. And now all of a sudden, right off the bat, we have a motivation. He wants to get clothes so he doesn't stand out. So it takes us, it helps automatically tell the next segment of the story, and it lets show his badassness, his being able to take these people out, because he has a reason. Not like he's going to go and just jack people for no reason right there, but he's going to jack them to get some clothes, because he's going to have problems if he doesn't have clothes. Now, you know, you might say, well, there's a problem. How come the guy, it's a robot, can go back? I mean, let's not talk about that. Let's look at the fact that they were able to use that to generate more. That's what you want. People get whacked in their mind on more. Like, oh, I got to have more damage. Oh, I got to have more to hit. I got to have more armor class. Well, that's never won anybody a damn thing. What you need more of is more spotlight, more ability to generate the next scene, more ability to create interest with what you've done. Use it as a building block to produce what you can do. You know, what we said, let's stay here for a minute. Let's make it cool. And let's build up so over here is also cool. So it's not like, oh, we went through here. And I've seen players that do that push on, stop, push on. And eventually they're at the end, they push past everything. And they had the blinders on, they never enjoyed the ride. And when they got there, at the end, they're like, eh. And they've used up so much material. They've used up so much more of the Game Master's material than they needed to. It doesn't matter how much you see, how much you do. It's how much you overall enjoy yourself, how much you're able to bring yourself into character. That is what's important. And now, let's hear your thoughts about shapeshifting down there. And you need to shapeshift into a comment, or even a video response if you want.